BBC London 94.9.
London's news.
London stories.
Lucy in Southgate, thanks for holding on. How are you?
I'm very well. Good morning, Graham.
You're feeling I'm feeling great, but are you feeling safe?
As a woman, I don't. And I'm one of these women that, unfortunately, I have to work shifts in my job.
What is your job, Lucy?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, fine. No, that's cool.
But where I travel to this distance, I'm using public transport, and I'm always constantly looking over my shoulder. Now, I will take preventative measures as I'm walking around London. I'm not going to be flashing my mobile phone, for instance. I'm not going to be wearing things that are going to give the impression that I'm a walking ATM opportunity for the youngsters who feel that this is quite an easy thing to perpetrate. So taking preventative measures, walking in areas that are lighted, not taking the same route home. I mean, it's very sad that is the case, but it's a sad fact of life. I'm a single woman. I'm not driving, and even when I am driving, I don't feel safe. I've been attacked in my own car.
Have you? What happened?
Oh gosh, en route to work. But so it just turned daylight, and a cyclist felt that I had impeded his way. So basically, he jumped. He just flung. He wasn't injured or anything. He just felt I impeded him, and I didn't even see him, Graham. Jumped off his bike, jumped on top of my bonnet, and a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum and banging on the window, wanting to. I don't know what. I was just in shock, and nobody came to help me. Nobody lifted a finger. Everybody just stood round and watched. And I think that's.
Did you report it, Lucy?
Well, a cyclist, he got on his bike and whizzed off when he saw that, well, he wasn't going to gain entrance. I actually thought he was going to break my window.
Oh, but you were terrified.
I was absolutely terrified. I couldn't even drive for 5 minutes after that. And that was a cyclist, for goodness sake. Talk those are the people who are, they feel you impede them, or they're kissing your bumper, and they get road rage for all of a sudden. And goodness knows what can happen. You have to have your wits about you.
Lucy in Southgate, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks for
talking to you.
Thanks for your call.
Taking my call.
No worries at all. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Ian in Surbiton, good morning.
Morning, Graham.
You want to talk about safety in London?
My story comes from 4 years ago when I was going to work early in the morning. Came round the corner, 3 teenagers, separated. One had a hammer. I thought, here we go.
Goodness me.
So I said to one of them, OK, mate, let's not be silly. And I said, I've got £10 and that's all I got. And he said, you got anything else? I said, well, I've got a Sony Walkman I'm listening to. And he took that and he gave it back. Very fashion-conscious boy.
What year was this?
2008.
You had a Sony Walkman in 2008? He probably felt sorry for you.
I've still got it.
You've still got it?
I was pre-mobile.
And this isn't the Discman, this is the Walkman, the cassettes.
This is the thing that takes tapes.
I'm surprised he didn't give you the tenner back as well and tell you to save up for an iPod.
Well, yeah, you got that feeling. I mean, we sort of separated then. They went their way and I went mine. And then after about a minute, I doubled back to where I knew I could get to a phone.
Yeah.
And you want to know how the police reacted?
Yeah.
They, I rang 999. Within 10 minutes, a police van was outside.
Yeah.
I got into that, and he said, we think we know where they might be going. We'll give you a tour around the area.
Yeah.
Well, we never saw them. So they gave me a lift back home and said, in a few hours' time, the forensics officer will be coming. And he came at 9 o'clock. He couldn't do anything because the cover of the Walkman, although it's plastic, it couldn't take fingerprints.
Right, it wasn't shiny enough.
No, I thought, damn, I might have got them there.
Yeah.
But, and then I just waited for a call from the detectives about a few weeks later. Said, can you come down and have a look at the mug book?
Yeah.
So went to the station, went upstairs in there. They got about 4 books, and they said, have a look through there. And only one boy in the whole book looked similar. And I said, that's the look, but it's not him. And I can't say it's him.
Yeah.
The police were very good.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
But the point is, if you don't report it, the resources can't be made available.
They won't be made available in your area because they'll look at the sheet and they'll go, no, crime's not high enough in your area to warrant another policeman or keep a police station open 24 hours or whatever it turns out to be.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Surbiton's not a high crime area.
No.
But it happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got to have a police officer somewhere.
Yeah, I'm glad that they started looking through, giving you mug books with pictures in to help you identify them.
Oh, yeah.
Did it sound like if they could have identified them, they could have done something?
I think they had an idea of who they wanted from the very first.
Because that is a problem. There was a case. This happened to my wife. It wasn't in London. It was in Newcastle upon Tyne. We were living up there at the time, and she was walking home from work. We live right in the city, not far from St James's Park, and she's walking home from work, and there were two girls following her. Well, she turned into our street, the block of flats where we lived. And at the front door of the block of flats, one of them pulled out a knife and said, "Give me your purse." Now, Julie, she really didn't fancy doing. I would have given up. I would have just given them whatever they wanted if they've got a knife. But she said no, and she hit the intercom, and I was home, and she said, "Open the door straight away." I opened the door, let her in. She told me what had happened. We got the police. The police had CCTV footage of the girls following Julie through the town. But because they didn't have CCTV footage of the actual incident, and they knew who they were, but because they didn't have footage of the actual incident, they didn't even go and round them up. They didn't even go and talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, people say, "Oh, you should have thumped them." There are three of them.
No.
If I could take them one out, I was still left with the big guy.
Yeah, yeah. But
And he was standing well away.
and it was a hammer the fella had.
Yeah, a hammer.
Goodness
I think
me.
they're crafty, because although it's most probably an offensive weapon, it's not a knife. And we know how they're strong down knife crime.
Yeah, but if they were stopped by the police and asked, "Why are you carrying a hammer? You're doing some DIY." I mean, they'd have to have a story. Yeah.
I think that's why the police were hoping they would catch him in the area they were being.
Yeah, that's the point. If they caught him hammer-handed, they've got him. Yeah, because who carries a hammer around Surbiton at night? Yeah.
I got one bit of advice for people. If you're going to carry a small amount of notes, if someone robs you, it's your words against theirs. Take the last three numbers of a banknote. So if the police do stop and they say, we've been told that you've robbed this person of £10, we know the number, empty out your pockets. And they find the number in a banknote. How did it get there? Am I psychic? You know, how did I know that
I don't know if people are going to get at all that trouble, though, of writing down numbers of banknotes.
You only have to do one.
I see, I got you. You only have to do, you don't have to do them all, do you? No.
Yeah, if they're caught, very quickly, and they've still got it on them,
yeah.
you've got a chance of getting them.
Yeah, or you could always just keep a fiver in your wallet all the time as a float that you know the number of, and if you do get mugged, let them have that one.
Also, the advice
in what they say. Yeah.
If you can look at their faces, do, but they don't like that.
Yeah.
Look at their shoes. You can identify some people by their shoes, especially trainers. Anything that stands out, that would be useful to the police.
Good advice, Ian. Hey, thanks for your call.
No problems, mate.
How are you, Wayne?
I'm all right, thank you, yeah.
You want to talk about Christmas?
I do.
And re-gifting.
Well, I've got a little piece here, a little kind of a trinket kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a re-gifted. I know it was re-gifted.
Oh, you know? Oh, you've actually you suspect, you strongly suspect, or you definitely know that this is a re-gift.
Because
tell me the story, Wayne. What's the story here?
In 1996.
Yeah.
I had a friend, and she was a primary school teacher.
Right.
And obviously, the last day term,
yeah,
children come and give them gifts. Normally, it's Maltesers and things, isn't it?
It's a bit beyond apples, but yeah.
She was a little bit disturbed by this gift she'd been given by this particular little girl.
Yeah.
Who'd been there a good few months, but she was, as far as I could work out, she was a foster child.
Right.
I think she was a bit troubled. She'd be given a bit of a warning about it that she could be a bit of trouble, but she hadn't found her that much trouble.
Right.
But on the last day, and it was the last time she was going to see her, I think, she kind of hung back and gave her this present.
Right.
And she wasn't sure what to make of it. It was like beautifully wrapped. And when she opened it up, she couldn't work it out. Inside was a little piece of wood. right? And I don't know if you know. Do you know this kind of formation called the Devil's Tower? I think it's in Wyoming. It just juts out of the land. It's a really weird kind of strange formation.
It's a rock formation. It's not a man-made tower.
All I can describe it. This looks like that, but it's about as big as a kind of medium-sized jar of Vaseline.
Right.
It's got ridges cut in it, and she couldn't work it out. And underneath, she found a little card, and it said on it, "Always check the driftwood. The longer it's been sloshing around in the swim of things, the more it has to offer." And she was looking, and underneath this piece, because it was flat on the bottom and it stands beautifully upright, it had been burnt into the bottom, and it said Chelsea 1996.
Chelsea? What?
Chelsea, in
Sussex.
Sussex.
Yeah.
And she suddenly realised it was a school trip they'd been on, and this girl must have found it on the beach. It was a piece of driftwood.
Okay.
So,
but it was perfectly formed into this.
It had formed into this by dragging up and down and up and down, and it's beautifully. It stands beautifully, kind of like, on a surface, because the bottom is not flat, but it allows it to stand just like this rock formation does, jutting up.
Right.
And I think it's teak, and I've looked at it, and I reckon it was once a little piece of stair rail. Could have been from a ship. You never know. Could have been from a shipwreck or anything.
Yeah.
So she was a bit scared of this, and
why was she scared of it, Wayne?
Well, I think she was, because I don't think she quite understood, but I took it to be like a metaphor of this girl's life.
Right.
I thought that this was symbolic, that she's being pushed around like a piece of driftwood.
Right, but she's being shaped into something beautiful.
Yeah. And it's probably the best. Next year, she gave it to me.
So you got it from the teacher?
I got it from the teacher,
But that's a brilliant bit of re-gifting, though, isn't it? Because she wasn't comfortable with it.
No.
And you appreciate it.
I did. Well, I thought she believed that this girl actually, came up with this kind of, which should be in a book of quotations.
What's the quote again, Wayne?
It says, "Always check the driftwood. The longer it's been sloshing around in the swim of things, the more it will have to offer."
It isn't bad, actually, is it?
No.
It isn't bad. And have you Googled it and that and seen if it's
I've Googled it and I've never found it.
It's not attributed to any...
deep, and she was very intelligent. I think it came from herself. I definitely do.
And how old was she?
I think she was about 11. I just think it was meant to come to me, you know what I mean?
Really? What makes you think that?
Well, because I understood it. And sometimes you should check out people, shouldn't you? You should, some people that, she was probably in an area where all the people were nice and comfortable and, had a quite nice life. And maybe she was overlooked a little bit, but maybe she had a little bit more to her.
Well, what do you think happened to her?
Probably she's probably a radio presenter.
Yeah, we're all driftwood sloshing around different radio stations.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think it's just like, I don't know if you got it or not. Some people don't get it. Some people say, "Oh, I'd rather have had the Maltesers." Whether it's saying that.
BBC London 94.9.
London's news.
London stories.